course I hit go live and loud banging starts right outside our window within the absolute 3 seconds that I've connected to Twitch. Why? And our neighbor's granddaughter keeps screaming outside. So it's gonna be an interesting stream, you guys. I don't know what's happening today. This is crazy. Oh my word. Oh my word. Alright. So, sorry I've been gone for the last week. Things and stuff. We're gonna be back today. There will be no stream tomorrow. We have to go do some things. So, no stream tomorrow, but I figured why not come back today. Didn't really want to wait till Thursday. I needed, goddamn fly, I needed something to do. You know, keep me occupied, and I was like, well, I want to work on something. So, here we go. Excuse me, here we are. Here we are. We're a little off kilter on this edge, but I think we'll be okay if it comes to it. Oh, damn, we should have checked how much the split dowels were, if they had any, at the hardware store while we were there earlier. So we had to go and find some kind of metal plate for something in my mom's room. So, alright. Well, when we last left off, oh so long ago, on this project, we had finished putting in this. I've actually started working on another project off stream. I am working on the one for the embroidery hoop finally. So, that's how far I've gotten on that one. I am recording this one, I just haven't gotten all that far. Because life got sideways. So, but here we are. This is, if you're new here, I'm Nisey. We are painting with wool. We're basically making a landscapey piece out of yarn fiber and wool roving, and we're choosing to try to follow along with season 3 of The Joy of Painting from Bob Ross, because I've seen so many people do it so many different ways, blindfolded, they can see but they're just listening, having like a red light that they're painting with so they can't tell what colors are what on the palette because somebody else put them on the palette for them.
Yeah, that's pretty amusing.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll have somebody else set up the colors, and then they've got a red light on that just totally washes out everything, and all of the colors look black for some reason. And they're like, I don't know. So, like, even titanium white will look red because of the lighting. So, I mean, that was interesting. And I've seen people follow along even with cake frosting. But we're gonna try it with wool. We've done 4 follow along episodes with this season already. This is number 5 that we're working on. So if you are curious about going back and watching the tutorial in full, because we have it in pause quite a bit because I cannot needle felt at the pace that Bob Ross paints in, there is the link to the tutorial. And yes, when we last left off, we had just put in this row of trees, and we will be bless you. Bless you.
Apologies.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Do I need to shut the window?
Nah.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna start off by hitting the tutorial and see where we're at. I'm sorry I do have it smaller in the bottom corner of the screen. It's just so you can kind of get an idea of where we're at. I'm not sure how visible it is to you because my preview is really tiny. So hopefully you guys can see it. And if you can't, well, there's the link where you can go watch it in all of its Bob Rossi glory. But I do have it muted as well. And we're gonna go ahead and hit play. Now I have been jumping around a little bit on this one, just where it's been making sense to do so. So we might actually jump ahead and do the river section before we put the other land pieces in, just so that we can kind of get our bearings here a bit. But we'll see. So I'm probably going to take it forward a bit. So he's just kind of fluffing up his tree line that we did. And okay, so he does, what is this? Okay, so here he is actually putting in the water already, so we really wouldn't be jumping too far ahead. But he's kind of like putting the reflections in the water, and it's really, really hard to do water reflections with this. Like, it would just look like straight lines coming down if we tried to repeat that, and it wouldn't look right, I don't think. So I tend to omit them, because it's just going to be like blobs of color, and I think it would just be too much going on. So for this, I tend to omit it. If that's something you want to attempt to put in, go ahead, but I think it's just going to be too busy with this, and it's not going to blend the way that paint does and stuff. It's not going to look like a mirror reflection or anything. So he put in the water line there, and then he started coming back with the tree line over here. So I think, okay, now that has more of like a gray tone to it, so we're going to swap colors again on that tree section there. He had actually brought these over a little bit further, but that's fine. Ours isn't going to be a mirror copy of his, but that's more than okay. So yeah, we do need to, like, this might not come out as far, depends, but yeah, we definitely need to get that water line in first. And then we've got these tree guys. He never really seems to do a head-on, even view pulled back on this season so far. These first few that we've done, they've been at these weird, like, 3/4 angle things, and it's been mildly frustrating, because the only time they're showing like the straight up close up is, well, the straight on view is when they're really close in there, and you can't really get a good idea of how things are sitting. Cause like I wanted a view of this water line he's putting in, because I can't tell if he's hugging or if he's just coming straight off. Up here I think it's hugging, but when it gets down here I think it's just coming straight. I don't think it's actually outlining it. So we're gonna work on the river first, and it might be a little close to the color that's already on here, because it's a lighter gray, but we'll see how this works out. Now this is from Paintbox brand Simply Chunky. This is kind of like the house brand, kinda, for I don't know if it's a house brand, but I think Lovecrafts sells it exclusively. So that would be kind of, I don't know if, again, I don't know if exclusive counts as house brand. But that's what this shade is. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than our background color. Just a bit here. So just kind of rolling this a little bit just to get a little bit more manageable in here. And it should be all in frame. And I am pulled out a bit so we can see the whole thing. Hopefully I'm not too pulled out for you. And my pen lines that I've got on here are just, you know, suggestions of where I should be. It's not a huge deal if we go over them a little bit. So that's gonna be fine. I mean, we want to stay within reason, like we don't want to go too crazy, but it's just guidelines for where certain things should probably try to be slotted in. Because I found that I kind of need them in there because I'll lose track of where I am spatially. And then I get towards the bottom as I'm watching his stuff and I'm like, oh shit, I'm out of room. So then I'm like trying to cram all of the things in there. So if I can at least get my multi layers of not exactly multiple horizon lines, but just multiple planes, I guess, for where things should be sitting in theory, it works a little bit better for me. So his water is kind of like a whitey gray tone to it. So I decided to go with this shade. My shades that I have chosen don't necessarily 100% reflect what he's done for this piece because it's kind of hard to match or to figure out what shade you want to go with on something that's been painted that you're trying to recreate with the method of painting that he uses. Because he does a lot of blending on the canvas. So what he shows you on the brush isn't necessarily the color, or on the palette, the color that it ends up being. So like his mountain was more of a pinkish dark brown. It kind of looked like this to me on the screen. That was like the closest I could really get with the colors I had on hand. Because I didn't buy colors exclusively to match this particular attempt here. I was just kind of buying colors. I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I can do something with this. So we're just kind of trying to make the best of what I have to choose from at this point. And I went with acrylic yarn for a lot of what we do because it was more doable with my tiny budget. Roving gets very expensive very quickly if you need a lot of it. And if you're making figurines and stuff or much smaller pieces, then you probably don't have to worry about that as much. Or, you know, if your budget's not an issue, then you also don't have to worry about it. But I've also found that I can get a larger range of color selection in the yarn than if I went with color selection on roving. And I do know that I could just buy some roving and attempt to dye it, but I'm not that ambitious. And knowing me, I'd probably fuck something up. So that's a whole nother level that I'd rather just buy the yarn. That's a whole nother level of prep that I'm not comfortable doing. At least not right now. Because I already have to do prep for the acrylic yarn before we can use it. or before I use it. You might be able to use it straight off the skein with it still twisted, but I think it'll be more of like a straight twisty line then. To get it to look like roving, you're gonna have to cut some strands that are equal lengths, or as equal as you can. And then you need to brush it out with a pet grooming brush. I think it's either called a sticker or a slicker. It's the type of brush with the metal teeth in it that can help remove undercoat on an animal. If your dog's coat or whatever is double coated. My dog people know what I'm talking about, and I've showed it before. It's I would do recommend using the metal version of that brush instead of the plastic one. The plastic version, the teeth will probably snap out of the brush on you, probably after a little bit. So, I mean, you might not lose all of them, but the metal one's probably the more durable way to go with that. And just be careful, because you can rip your fingers up pretty good if you're not paying attention while you're using it. A lot of people tend to use like a piece of cardboard or a self-healing cutting mat, and they'll hold the yarn in the one hand and then they'll brush it out over top of the mat or the cardboard to save their fingers a little bit. I've tried it that way. For me, I find that more awkward than just holding it. And it gets a little scritchy on my ears, at least with cardboard. I didn't have a self-healing cutting mat I could use to attempt it that way. I did have one mat, but I had used it for clay and I didn't want to get any clay residue in the yarn, so I don't have one that I can exclusively use for the yarn right now. So for me, it's either a piece of cardboard, which we usually have laying around somewhere, or just holding it. So I'm just gonna work on getting this filled in. And this is a little bit of a slower medium to do. I fully acknowledge that and understand that. It's not for everybody. Some people need more instantaneous and quicker results, and that's fine. Maybe painting's better for you then, or something else. If I had the space, I would think about trying diamond painting, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I am a certified klutz, and I'm real good at spilling stuff and making a mess. So, and it's so many tiny little pieces, I can just see me accidentally nudging something and everything going flying. So that might not be the best idea for me. We'll have to see about that. I am still working on the editing of the last project's speed felt version. I think I'm almost halfway done the video edit on that. I've been trying to work on that this past week because we might be replacing my PC soon, and I want to get any in-progress edits done. Just because I don't know if I'm going to be using the same editing software on the new PC. We have to see, or we might be changing it to a different version. So with my luck, I don't want to corrupt anything after spending so many hours working on it. Oh, what is this? Yeah, no, we don't post links here. Confused posti? And we certainly don't do that, as I'm pretty sure that's a violation of Twitch. So, yeah. We'll just, sorry, but that's not welcome in the chat. And I'm gonna have to report that. So if you all will just give me a moment to take care of that report. Let me take off these finger protectors. It's really hard to type with those on. Tried to post a link for people to... I did block them, but well, okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Alrighty. Let's put our doodles back on here. So yeah, I've been trying to get that done. It's been pretty time consuming working on that, and I was taking breaks for a couple days. I was just kind of completely zoned out working on some digital puzzles, because I don't really have a space where I can do physical puzzles that I can't finish in one sitting because of the cats. But Steam has a free, was it free? Or maybe it was $2.99. It was something small, a small amount that of a jigsaw puzzle game, and they've got all kinds of free puzzles available, and they keep adding new ones faster than I can do any of them, and they'll have like different sized options on each picture. Trying to remember, is it 60, 200, 400, and 800 are the base ones on the base sizes on the free ones. And then as you do the free ones, you can earn coins to unlock other sized puzzles. I think maybe 1,000 or 1,500. And then there's DLCs that you can just straight up buy if you so choose. I haven't bought any of those. Haven't had the money to, and the free ones are just fine for me because I can't do them that fast. So I've just been mostly vegetating, working on that. I did get another piece done earlier this week because I needed a distraction and needed something to do with myself. So I ended up busting out the watercolors. I know, gasp, the one thing that intimidates me so much. It wasn't anything too grand though that I was messing around with, so don't get too excited. I did record that, so I haven't edited it together yet, but I did record it. And I mean, it did take a couple of hours to do because I had to wait for the watercolor to dry before I could move on to the next step. I swear, I can't tell if somebody's doing some kind of construction or if somebody's at a shooting range nearby. Because sometimes it's kind of rhythmic pausing in between, but they are also, I think, working on a gas station, but I don't know who is doing construction on a Sunday, which is why I'm not sure if it's just a private person working on something. Or if it's like a shooting range, because it'll be like bang, bang, bang. It's got a pretty, most of the time it's got a pretty steady space in between them. We have so much trash to go out tomorrow because we've been cleaning the house, and oh my goodness. I hope the city doesn't give a shit over it. Because, wow. We've had to do some major cleaning this week to try to make sense of all my dad's stuff. And for those that don't know, my dad did pass away earlier this week, which is why I've been on vacation mode. I haven't been able to do any streams this past week. We've been just preoccupied and busy dealing with other matters, which is why we're not doing an art stream tomorrow, because we're going to be continuing to deal with matters, and we want to get my mom out of the house for a little bit, because she hasn't even stepped out to go with us to run to Walmart. I think today was the first time she really went anywhere that wasn't the cemetery, and she had to pick out an area rug, or she wanted to pick out an area rug for their room, so she's not tripping over a cable that we had to run across the room. We might have been able to run it across the ceiling, but it would have looked extra janky. And we tried taping it down to the rug, but the rug in that room is kind of fuzzy and the tape didn't want to stick to it. So it was just easier just to go grab a throw rug and just throw that over that, so that way her foot doesn't get caught on it. It's kind of windy today, but it's not too cold. It's supposed to be in the high 70s tomorrow, which is like, it's March. What do you mean it's going to be in the high 70s tomorrow? They originally were predicting 81, but they've dialed that back to like 78, 77. Still rather ridiculous for this time in March. For here, I think. That's like end of April, early May temperatures to me. But then the rest of the week it's supposed to be raining, thunderstorms. It's going to be a cold rain. They said it's going to be like in the 50s. So just kind of wet and miserable, and not the kind of weather anybody really wants to be out in if they can help it, but You okay?
Yep.
What's up?
Not much.
Where are you going?
Bathroom.
Oh. He got up suddenly. I didn't know what was up. And, we still have Valentino. He's still alive. He's staring at me right now. We need to do a water change, though. His tank is Algae City at the moment. Algae City. So yeah, you can't really... I mean, you can kind of see the lighter shade of gray that we're putting in. It's a different shade of gray. Like, this gray up here is a little more... I don't know, I want more of a smoky gray. This is more of like a foggy gray. Like the one we used in the sky kind of feels like there was a little bit more brown in it. Almost more of maybe a khaki gray. So how's everybody's week been? Since I've been MIA here. Hope everybody had a better week than me, to say the least. And hope your weekend went well. And that you had a good one. I had actually planned on starting a little bit sooner today, but we had to run to the hardware store and they didn't open until 1 o'clock today, just the hardware store in town. And since it's family run and it's churchy Sunday, they didn't open until 1 o'clock in the afternoon today. So we needed to pick up a couple of paint samples for my mom. And I don't know what I did with that. She wanted so we were asking her if she wanted, you know, the walls painted in her room just to change it up a bit. And she said, yeah, I do. And she was thinking like some kind of like tan or beige. I'm like, you know, you don't have to go that shade, right? You can go whatever color you want. Whatever you want, we'll paint the room. That's not a big deal. She goes, I just don't want it to be white. And then she picked out, we had some, like I was thinking maybe yellow. She's got red curtains up in there, and she wanted to pick a paint color that would still go with. And I had like a pale sort of orange sherbet color that's similar to like a cantaloupe color, but a little bit paler. And she goes, yeah, something like that. So we took that bag of yarn down there to pick out some paint samples to try to match against it. And I brought 3 different paint chips home, little cardi-doos, and she picked out one that she liked. So I guess in a couple of weeks I'm gonna be painting a room. So do forgive me if the next couple of weeks the streams are not quite consistent, if I have to skip a day here and there. I will do my best not to, but there's gonna be days where we have to get stuff done, and dealing with the aftermath mess of my dad passing. we actually had to get like 20 copies of his death certificate because we've got so many people to contact. Banks and credit cards and hospital collection and all of it, and I actually am not certain we have enough. We may have to get more. And we had to pay per copy too, so I was like, ugh. I think the initial one was more, and then each copy I think was like, was it $8 per? I don't remember. They told me, and like I had to sign paperwork because my name was on his insurance policy, and that's how final expenses were being paid, was out of that, and whatever was left over I'm getting a check for. But we had to order them, or we did order them through the funeral home. I don't know if we call them back if we need to order more, or if we can just go into Fayetteville and get them ourselves. I don't know. Russell was originally only going to get 15, and I'm like, no, get 20. Because everybody's probably going to want multiple copies for multiple accounts, like one for every single account and stuff. But we have to run to the bank first thing in the morning and get something notarized for his bank up in New Jersey, and I'm just glad that we don't have to go up there in person. We needed copies for Social Security, and because my mom needed a copy because she has an appointment to go talk to them because they were married, so supposedly the amount that she was getting a month, since she was getting less than him, is going to be brought up to the amount that he was getting. And then she realized she didn't or couldn't find the copy of her marriage certificate. And make sure you know where all of your important paperwork is, guys, because apparently my dad needed it for something at some point, and she said he never gave it back. She didn't say if it was while they were here or not, but we've been through like every single box of papers that we could find, and we didn't see it. So I don't know if he thought it was a copy and sent it somewhere thinking he was gonna get it back and never got it back, or if it's like tucked in some kind of envelope or something somewhere. I don't know. It could be. He just had so much shit everywhere. I'm thinking it might be stashed in an envelope somewhere, now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm gonna have to ask the husband if he saw an envelope for the place that he was trying to get into for their reduced insulin cost program. But it was either that or some kind of hospital bills for financial aid or something. Because at one point I remember him saying, oh no, they said we made too much or something, and I'm like, what? Okay. There's a spot right there. Why is that darker right there? That is wild. I don't know why that looks darker. It's not thinned out. Is it just the way the light's hitting it? I don't know. That is weird. Huh. I don't think it's thin there. I'm like not seeing. It looks pretty thick. Wow. Alright. But, yeah, it's just been a nightmare the past couple of days of trying to figure out paperwork and stuff. But, they put a hold on my mom's debit card because she asked us to go get something for her, and Russell put the wrong PIN number in, and then they put a hold on it because they're like, oh, fraud alert, and we can't lift it until we get the copy of the death certificate. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? But yeah, then she has to go to Social Security on Friday. We had to rush order a copy of their marriage certificate because she can't find her other marriage license. Can't find it anywhere. She has an appointment on Friday with them locally, and we're hoping that this shows up before then. That was expensive. That was almost $100 to rush a copy. One copy of that here, because we can't find the original that she had anywhere. And he has so many envelopes stuffed with this, that, and another thing, and we really have to sit down and figure everything out. Like, we had to call and try to cancel a newspaper subscription that was being auto-debited from his bank account. And the husband called them. And he's like, yeah, I'm speaking on his behalf. I am the executor of his will. And they're like, well, why are you canceling it? And we're like, because he passed away. I'm the executor of the will. He got off the phone and he's like, I can't believe I had to explain that. And they wouldn't just let us cancel it online, they made us call. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. So that was a bit of a pain. And then he's got something else that auto debits. Husband said he was going to try to contact them today, but we don't know. I don't know if he's going to get hold of anybody on a Sunday. I don't know if he remembered saying he was going to do that. But we have to be at the bank like first thing, 9 o'clock, because we're going somewhere tomorrow after the bank. And so that's why there's no stream tomorrow, because we're trying to, we need to get my mom out of this house for a little bit, and nobody wants to think about all of this paperwork madness that's about to start. We all need a mental break for a couple of hours. So we're just gonna get her out of the house for a little bit, since she's willing to go. And she was a little upset. She's like, yeah, but is it too soon to be doing that? And she goes, I feel so guilty. And I'm like, you can't sit and pine in the house forever. And everybody mourns differently, right? And it's not like this was sudden. He's been very sick for a long time. And you know, everybody's just exhausted. We're just exhausted, and it's been a whole ass a lot. And he wouldn't want her just sitting there tied to the house, never leaving. I mean, she can't be chained up in the house forever. If she feels up to to venturing out just to take her mind off of things for a couple of hours, she should do it. I mean, some people aren't up to doing that. Some people need to. Some people need to keep moving forward. You know, I told her, I was like, fuck what somebody else thinks. I mean, if the extended family raises their eyebrow, who gives a shit? They're not the one in this position. I mean, just because you're going out to clear your head for a couple of hours doesn't mean you're not still upset. But if you're up to doing the thing, you should do the thing. It's not like we're going on a worldwide vacation and partying and drinking. So it's not like you're going out to look for guys to hook up with. We're literally going to the zoo for a couple of hours tomorrow. That's it. We're gonna walk around, we're gonna get some fresh air, we're gonna get some sun. And we're gonna have a few hours out of the house where we don't have to deal with anything aside from in the moment, which is look at the animals and maybe take a few pictures. That's all. It's just to get outside for a little bit. That's all it is. It's not like we're having a huge party. I mean, I told her, I said, if you really don't want to go yet, that's fine. We can wait and go later. But she's like, no, I want to go. She was like torn between wanting to go and worried about how people were going to judge her. It's like, if we were going to judge you about going this soon, we wouldn't have offered to take you, number one. Like, we wouldn't have offered it yet if we were going to judge about it. It's like, it's not a trick question. We're just letting you know that tomorrow's a good day, and the mother-in-law and I guess aunt-in-law, they're going to be here still. Because when we were talking about going towards the end of March or something, they're like, oh, we don't know if we're going to be here. And I'm like, well, somebody needs to be here to keep an eye on the dogs. So, you know, there's that. Like, we can't go too far. And I just don't want Zuzu howling his head off, because sometimes he does. When people leave the house, like, I'll be sitting here and he'll think he's by himself and my mom will be outside and he'll just start howling. I'm like, stop it. It's like, you're not alone. What is your deal? So he's been fairly good about it, as far as I can tell, the past couple of days. Because we were all out of the house for about an hour or so on Wednesday when we laid my dad to rest, and it seemed like he was laid to rest awfully quick, but they squeezed us in since we weren't really doing a big funeral or anything. We were just doing, you know, it was just us, and we didn't, like, it's not like there was a need to do a viewing or anything or any church services or any of that. He didn't specifically request it, and we didn't have to have him transported to New Jersey, so because he ended up getting a cemetery plot down here. And it seems like we'll be able to deal with the bank nonsense from here. I hope we don't have to go up there. But I think so that we don't have to go up there, they said, like, I think that's why we have to go to our bank tomorrow, and Russell has to sign something, and they have to notarize it, some kind of affidavit or something, saying, yeah, so-and-so, he lived here, we knew him, verify that he lived here. Verify that him and my mom were married together or something. And then we have to send that up to them with a copy of a death certificate to try to get all of that sorted so that we can get the hold released off my mom's debit card. There was a bit of a line there from where the two sections got merged together, so I'm just kind of tapping this in over top of it. Just kind of seeing what we can do with that. Brushing out the back there. I still don't know why that section's darker. It almost looks like it's a different shade of gray entirely, and I don't know where it came from. Unless there was a little bit of medium gray around when I stuffed this shade's bag. It's just so bizarre. Let me see if putting a patch over it does anything. Don't know if it's gonna. We'll see. But I felt so bad because my mom got my dad like model cars to put together for Christmas, but he was never well enough to try to do them. So Russell opened the one. My wax melter is having a rave over here. It's just flashing through all of its colors. It used to, like, turn through them real slow. And now it's just, like, flashing between purple and blue. There's more than purple and blue on there. I don't know why it's being so weird. But, I finally ended up finding a plug. Well, I guess that maybe it was just like ink residue that got on the needle. Possible, I guess. But I found a plug. It was actually probably the plug it was originally in. We had to get a separate surge protector for the fish tank, so. So the new PC that I hope to be getting soon-ish I'm gonna try to pick up some Posca pens, perhaps, and try to decorate the side of the case with our flamingo emotes. You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Where are you going?
Huh? I'm wandering around.
Oh. He put his coat on. I thought he was leaving. Like, where the fuck are you going? I'm nosy. If you haven't been able to tell. But, yeah, so, no art stream tomorrow. I'm hoping by time Thursday rolls around, we'll be able to get back into the swing of things here. There still is probably going to be times where we need to be out doing stuff. Don't know what I'm going to be getting for a new PC yet. We gotta get work done on the car, like major work done on the car. That's gonna suck. We've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But we might have to, we might be gone for a week or 2 weeks in September or October. We might be taking my mom to Florida to see my brother, because she wants to see him, she said, before she passes, and she hasn't seen him in a long time. He was gonna send her the money for a plane ticket, but she doesn't want to fly, so, and there's no way I would be comfortable with her taking the bus or anything. She couldn't handle that anyway. So, you know, we said if she really wants to go, we can drive her, but if it would happen sooner if my brother's willing to still send her the money that he was gonna send on a plane ticket that we could just use for, like, towards gas to drive her down. So that's gonna be money that we need to squirrel away here. Which we might be able to do, because we're gonna clear some of our debts, but it would probably take us like 3 days maybe to drive to Tampa, because he's in the Tampa area. And knowing my brother, we're probably gonna have to have a hotel. I don't think we'd be able to stay with him. So that might be another day we get in, a day to go see him. We were thinking about hitting the Tampa Zoo while we were there, maybe. At the very least. really depends on funding and what funding looks like whenever that comes about to be. Maybe it's just thinner spots. This fly is driving me crazy. I thought Little killed it earlier, unless it's a new one. It didn't look like a thin spot. So this edge over here is a little bunchy because of how stiff and solid this section is. That's okay though. It'll sort itself once we get everything all wrapped up. The bunchiness is more so on the edge here anyway. Alright, so we've got this going in here. And I know it's not terribly exciting what we're working on today, but it still needs to get done. It's not that bad. So yeah, so Tampa's no Key West, but it's what she wants, so don't really have the money to go to Key West right now anyway. Honestly, we don't really have the money to go to Tampa, but we're gonna try to clear some of our deadage here shortly. At the very least, we'll be paying off the money that we borrowed from Russell's aunt to get the sewer line fixed. So that's something. Small something, but a something. And like I said, we gotta get work done on the car. We have 2 more tires that we have to replace. Because only 2 got replaced recently, because that's all the money there was. We need something done to the brakes, and I don't know what. I don't know if it's just brake pads. It might just be brake pads. I don't know where this thing got serviced. I think it got serviced at the dealership. And I think they said, well, yeah, your transmission fluid needs to be changed or flushed or something. And that was expensive. And so we held off on that. Like, really expensive. Like, more expensive than him and I were like, what? Like, no. What do you mean? But he's not comfortable attempting to do that on his own. And we have to have some kind of belt replaced. Serpentine belt. The car's got like 94,000 miles on it. And I think they were telling his mom when she took the car in to get it serviced that it needs to be done at 100,000 miles. And I'm like, Russell's like, well, it's at 94,000. We don't need to do it yet. I'm like, sweetie, as much as it pains me to spend the cash on this, if we're going to be taking her to Florida, we really need to get this done now, because it's gonna be like 1,000-mile drive there and back. And we're gonna have the money to do this right now. Actually, let's double check this. Hold on. Where's my mouse? Let's go to... Let's go to Google Maps. And I don't know why that's showing that. So if we, sorry, but y'all aren't getting my street address. Some of you know it. A select few of you know it, but I'm not giving it to all of you. Sorry. There's no need. Not all of yous need it. So if we do that, so it's like a 17-hour drive. Oh yeah, it's depending on which way we go. It's kind of funny. The route that's 3 miles longer is like 40 minutes faster. I find that hilarious. Because there's 2 potential ways we could go. But, I mean, either way, it's an 1,100-mile trip one way. So, you know, that's a thing. But, that's a ways out from happening, so. And I'll have plenty of lead time to give you on when we'll be missing for that. 'Cause let's see, if we do about, well, if we do 8 hours in the car each day, that's 16 hours, right? 8 and 8. It's a 17-hour drive. I don't know if the husband really wants to be driving for 9 hours a day, though. And that would be like straight moving 9 hours. That's not counting stops or breaks or anything. That was a long day to be in the car. So it might take us like 3 days to get to Tampa. If it was just him and me, we could probably push it to 2. But we'll have to see how all that shakes out. Alright. So, can't get over how windy it is. I hope it's not quite this windy tomorrow. guess we'll find out. I haven't seen anything about wind for tomorrow. But yeah, so Thursday I should be back with Coral Island. And then Friday we'll be back with Solo Planet Zoo. And we're hoping the husband will be able to stream our Duo Zoo this week or next weekend. We'll see how life shakes out, but he's gonna try to maybe do RimWorld on Wednesday night, maybe. We'll see. Kind of depends on how mentally exhausting early or in the day Wednesday is. But he hopes to be coming back soon. I haven't worked on that zoo yet since the last video that went up a week or two ago. I'm ready to pick a new animal, but I just haven't yet. So if he's not able to stream that this week, and then if he can't do it on Saturday, I might stream it Saturday night. We'll see, because I'm not doing my Saturday podcast obligations anymore. I have stepped down from that. Just the time wasn't there for me to be able to do that with everything else going on, and I'm still not sure yet if what we're gonna do yet, finances wise, so anything I do on Saturdays is considered bonus extra time. I almost did something last night, but I was also pretty tired because I had cooked all afternoon. I'm trying to make sure that my mom's eating something more substantial than just toast and coffee. So I've been doing a fair amount of cooking the past couple of days for me. So I made our version of baked ziti on Friday, and then cooked a turkey breast yesterday, so I've been a wee bit busy. So by the time I get a minute, I've just been like, oh, I'm tired. But we're also running on quite a sleep deficit for a few days as well. We slept in like nappy shifts, or like for 2 to 3 days we had only really slept like a minimum of 2 to 4 hours over the course of like 2 days and 1 day, I think I was up for over 24 hours. Or almost 24 hours with only like a 2-hour nap. So that didn't help matters. But there was just so much going on. That we weren't really able to sleep like we normally do. But we've managed to get some sleep now. And all the things, so. Looks like I made this one a little bit thicker. Or a little bit bigger than I have been. Oh, we do have a time change next week. So, next Saturday night into Sunday morning in the States, at least in our state, I know some areas don't observe it, but we have a time change where we are flipping forward an hour. So it's going to start getting dark later. Yay. I'll take that. It was a little rough this morning though. Like, I woke up at 7:30 because I had to pee and the sun was just blazing against the windows in our room, and I'm like, oh god, what time is it? I thought it had to be so super late. I'm like, it cannot possibly be that late for as fucking exhausted as I feel. So I was deeply, deeply, deeply confused. And then managed to check the time when I got up to go pee, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, of course, because I got up to pee, everybody was up to pee, I guess. I guess everybody was just waking up, so. There was a little bit of chaos. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going back to bed. Like, I can't function yet. My body keeps trying to make me function on like 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, no, we don't need to be on the 4-hour sleepy things anymore. But then I went back to bed, and I did manage to fall back asleep, but then I was like waking up every 2 hours. And I seemed to be able to guess what time it was, because I'm like, it's gotta be about this. And then I'd either check or ask the husband, and it was about that, give or take a few minutes. I was like, okay. And I think the last time I woke up, what was it, 10:30? Somewhere around in there, going on 11. And falling back asleep wasn't happening, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get up. Yeah, I'd originally planned to start like around noon or 1 or something. I was trying to get myself together, and then we decided to, I decided to go with the husband to the hardware store. We were checking the price of hummingbird feeders and getting the paint samples, and we needed to get a metal bracket because the magnets that used to be in this like wardrobe thing my mom's using, there used to be a metal plate for magnets at the bottom of the doors to connect to, and that metal plate seems to be missing. And I had extra magnets that I attached to the top of the door, so we might put 2 plates on. I think the package came with a couple, so we might see if we can get a 2 metal plates on there for the magnets I put on and the magnets that might already be there, just to try to secure the doors closed on it, because Cow's an asshole. Cow the cat. And in his true assholiness, he likes to bang the doors constantly on this wardrobe-y thingy. Like, it used to be a TV armoire, but we don't have the TV in it. We never did. Well, no, there was a TV in it at one point, but there isn't any longer. Just using it for clothes storage and stuff. And he likes to bang cabinet doors. And then he likes to climb in the cabinets and get in there and fuck around and destroy stuff and be a nuisance and make a mess. And my mom's sort of tried to tie the doors to it shut, like with the knobs, tying the knobs together, but unless you get that string real super tight, he can still bang them together into the frame of the piece of furniture. And I swear he was doing it the other night, because I was laying here trying to fall asleep. It was like, I don't know, going on 4 a.m. and I could have swore I heard the bang bang, bang bang, bang bang. And I'm like, motherfucker, what are you doing? And I couldn't really go in her room without waking her up, getting him to stop. Because with my luck, even if she didn't wake up on me going in there to get him, if I sprayed him, he'd probably run over top of her. And then wake her up, because, you know, that's how he rolls. Who's behind me anyway? Around? Littles. Hi, Littles. Littles is in the window behind me. I'm looking at all the birds and bugs, and she's in kitty heaven. She's in all of her kitty glory at the moment. Alright, so if we don't fully cover this pen line, I think we can probably trim that up to there at the very least, because I'm not gonna put this one in a frame. I'm not setting this one up for a frame. I'm gonna leave the bottom bit and the top bit, but I'm gonna trim the sides in and see what we can do about like kind of making it like a scroll hanging. kinda. I was originally thinking of just taking a dowel rod and wrapping the top over it, but then I wasn't sure how I was gonna attach that, so I mean, I guess in theory we could hot glue it, but with all that fuzz on the back of it, I didn't want it to bleed through or soak through and make it look funny on the front, and I wasn't sure with how thick the fuzz was, if it was probably going to attach. So in the end, it might be just less frustrating to just attempt to do it the way the husband suggested. And see how that goes. So I need to pick up the slit dowels. I need front and back, front and back. So I don't know if I just need one long one or if I need two. I'll probably get two. Depending on how long they come, I'll probably need two. Alright, so we're just finishing up putting in our, well, we've got a little bit to go before we finish it, but we're working on getting our river in here. And then this is going to be a landmass. It's supposed to be like solid trees. I don't know what See, I hadn't planned on filling that in. What are you doing, man? Oh, you're getting that fly. Get that fly. That fly's been driving me crazy. She also enjoys hunting like Cow. I hadn't planned on filling this in with like a ground color, but I might. We still have some of this color left. I could fill that in solid with that, and then do our trees, which are a dark gray, over top of it. Either that or I grab one of our brown shades. I'm not quite sure how I want to handle that yet. So this spot was a little bit thicker, so it's going to take a little bit more fussing to get into there. swear, I'm such a silly person. I get the art supplies to use them, and then as I'm using them, I'm watching them dwindle, and then I'm like, but it's gonna be all gone. I'm like, well, you got it to use it, silly. That's what happens when you use things. I may have to switch what brand of yarn I'm getting from Lovecraft, because this one was being made in Turkey. And you know, with everything that happened there, I don't know if the brand is going to survive it. I guess we'll see. They were out of stock on a lot of colors the other day when I was on the website. They do have another inexpensive yarn company that we could try. But we'll see. We don't need any other yarn for a while, I don't think. So for now, I'll figure that out when we get there, I guess. We'll see what the happens. I don't have hot tea today, but I do have cold tea. Some peach iced tea today. Alright. So we'll work on getting this tapped into here. Sorry about the traffic. We do have the window open a little bit. Trying to take advantage of the slightly warmer temperatures while we can. The slightly warmer temperatures and the not rain at the moment. Do I need to stop?
No, you're good.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was bugging you. Alright, so we'll get this worked into here. Yeah, so we might be decorating the side of the new PC at some point. If we end up doing that, we might stream that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do stickers on it or I just wanted to get some paint pens, because paint pens are a little pricey and I've never used them before, but if I don't like it, I might be able to scrape that off easier than stickers. figure I can print out some templates so I don't have to freehand the flamingos. Maybe we can do one big of our icon on there. With some grass or something. Okay. My mouse decided to take a break again. Come on, mouse. Alrighty. So. Wasn't sure how much of this color we were gonna need when I was fluffing it. So I didn't go too crazy and overstuff the bag. So hopefully this is gonna be enough. We will see how it goes. Now this is a bit like bunchy in here because we've done the other bits around it first, but that should be okay. We should be able to tighten up the looseness in there as we get over to that spot. We're doing things a little bit different this time. Not tremendously different, but a little bit. Okay. Just kind of zoning out and stabbing some fluff here. So sorry if I got quiet there for a minute. Does happen sometimes. I know you might think it doesn't, but it does. Alright, let's pull that up. like trying to get this like super skinny, just trying to get enough in here just to make it a little bit more manageable for the stabby stabs. Alright. Looks like taking a week off kind of messed up everybody coming to check out the stream. It's like, I promised I was coming back. We just had to take that week off there while other matters got dealt with. I promise that's all that was about. We've got that new content update coming in sometime this month for Coral Island. So that'll be exciting when that hits, because they said it was a small content update, I think, or maybe it was just a content update. But when they were first talking about it, they were kind of playing it off as a small update. And when you actually get down into the bones of it and start reading the update notes and the developer notes, there's a fair number of things in there. I wouldn't call it a small update. There's a good number of things going on there, so that will be interesting. And we might actually get to see what the greenhouse looks like, if it's in yet, on the stream game. And I say if it's in because I'm not sure if it is. And on my off-stream game, I had already completed December, or winter, rather, and didn't have any of the stuff left to grow, or didn't have any of it saved after they changed the Winter Shrine bundle. So I think I'm missing the tea leaves or something that has to be a specific star quality in my off-stream game. So I'm like, well, nuts. I either have to hurry up and try to speed through where I'm at currently, or just wait to see what happens on the streamed version. I mean, I could have started a new game, I guess, but I just didn't feel like it. I didn't want to have too many versions of the game running, and I had upgraded my barn on my off-stream game because I wasn't sure. Like, I thought it said you could get some other animals, but when I upgraded the barn to level 2, no new animal purchases opened up, so I was like, huh. I'm like, alright. But I don't know if maybe it was only birds that were available, but I think it said sheep were gonna be available in this new update. So they were talking about making cloth with a loom. Did Momo just grr?
No, he just got up.
Okay. this one worked in. So today we might only just get the water in. Is what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking how I'm feeling, because this landmass over here needs to get slightly adjusted. I think one has to get added in that I may have sort of kind of technically forgot about. Oh, so do we need to... We might need to go with a different shade of brown, just to make sure I have enough to cover both sides. Because they should probably be similar in color since they're going to be across from each other and sort of on like the same plane, basically. We'll see. Oh, come back here, Fluff. Fluff and stuffs. Fluff and stuffs, fluff and stuffs. Alright, so we'll get this worked into here. We still might... No. Birds. We still might need to do another little patch around this one. But we'll see what we can get filled on in here. Let's see what we can make happen. Yeah, we're gonna have to put one over in here. So we do have a bit of a divot right in here that is fairly noticeable. And there's a tiny one right here. Meow. What's up, littles? Where'd you go? Where are you? I hear you. Little. Oh, there you are. Meow. Get up on the bed with Dad. Meow. Go ahead. Meow. Meow. She's on this side. Come on, littles. Up. There you go. Hi. Silly cat. Silly gatto. Alright, so have to fill in this spot here. Just to make it a little less noticeable, and then I might have to add one right there. Oh, and we might have a small thin spot there. So not too bad. At least you can see this color going in against the other gray. So that's something. Alright. So maybe we can get you overlapping into here. Let's see how that's gonna look. Like I said, sometimes as you go, you'll have thin spots open up just from the fibers getting pulled in different directions. It's not a huge deal if that happens. Just grab a little bit more of your fluff and go back over it and fill it in. It doesn't need to be super high precision patching with what we're doing. And again, apologies if you hear a small female voice high-pitched screaming or yelling or screeching. Our neighbor's granddaughter seems to be outside every so often making loud screamy yelling noises, so just a heads up on that. Kind of surprised her brother's not outside with her. That is a little bit noticeable right in there. So I do want to do a small patchy boo over that. If we can. See if it actually does anything for it. It might have done a little something. But I think we've got another slightly thin spot right in here. That pretty well filled in there. We just have a little bit more down into here to go. And probably one more patchy boo right in there. More than likely. I'm going to take this over the pen line just a little bit right in here. And we'll see where this gets us here in a minute. We should be looking alright here for where we're at. So I'm not sure how many more sessions we're going to have on this one. I mean, this one is pretty much just us putting the river in. So the next time we work on this, we'll be working on this landmass. That'll probably be most of a session. Probably. Depends on how long the session goes. We've got a bit of a landmass in here, and then we've got this down in here. I'd say probably 3 to 4. We've been averaging about 10 to 12 live stream sessions on these guys. So that would probably be about right, because we're on what, 7 now, so that's about my average speed, depending on the intricacies of what we're doing. Alright, so we got that in there. And we'll get this little bit of a guy for about in here. As best as we can. What was that?
The Discord.
Are you guys trying to play this week?
In theory.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to be doing phone calls or anything. Were you still going to try to call those people today?
I don't know.
Unless you just want to wait to do it all on Tuesday, but... Alright. We'll flip this guy up off of our mat here, which seems to be trying to walk away from us. Okay, so we got just a little bit more to fill in this bottom section here. It's not a whole huge amount. But we got a little something going. And I might have to move the streams up to a little bit earlier in the day. For now, it depends on if we need to keep making my mom dinner because she needs to eat early. Today will probably just end up being a little bit of leftovers. I don't know what the husband's doing for dinner.
No idea.
Because you don't normally do leftovers.
I'll probably have some of that stuffing. I know your mom ate it yesterday.
So I think we'll finish up this corner here, and then we'll have to bounce out as we try to figure out our new path forward. The hell?
That's me, sorry. I know of no way to turn it off.
Oh, no, I didn't expect you to be making a call. I didn't know what you were doing.
Well, I want to at least call the one, because that's the time-dependent one, the one where it had automatic stuff going on.
Alright, so... Stabby, stabby, stabby. As we do. Because, you know, sometimes you just got to get that worked into there. And we're almost done. We've just got this little bit left in here. And I mean, obviously we've got a bit of a thin section there, so we'll fill that in. As much as we can. I mean, I probably should have filled in that section first and then seen what we still had to cover here, because this section's probably going to overlap, but that's all right. Not a huge issue. Not really. Alright, so I'm gonna just get a bit of our fluff and stuff in here.
Never mind, they keep banking hours anyhow.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was going to be surprised if they were open today. So that'll have to wait till Tuesday then.
Mm-hmm. I might try to get it Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Is she awake or is she asleep?
She's sleeping.
Okay.
Excuse me.
She'll probably be getting up soon. So I'm not gonna super rush through this part, but I do wanna keep moving as we finish up this section here. Oh, damn, that's what we forgot to get. I wanted some cup hooks to, we keep bringing in my wind chimes from outside. Every time the weather's real bad, because they've been taking a beating. And, one of them is from New Jersey. And, can't really replace that one without making a huge production of it. And the other one is from Key West, again, I can't really replace it without making a huge production of it. So we were talking about, well, we need to put these back outside because the weather's sort of stabilized for now, and but it is coming into our severe weather season here, and I'm like, but severe season, so they've been inside like most of the winter. And I feel kind of silly for it, but I had said to the husband, I said, you know, I'd almost rather we could hang them up in here. He goes, we can do that if you want. And I was surprised that he was willing to roll with that, but I mean, if he's okay with it. Right. Just work on getting this bit worked on in here. And then we'll take another just quick sweep over. See if we missed anything glaringly obvious that needs attention here for our river section. I don't think we have. I think we've kind of taken care of all the bits and pieces as we've been working through it here. Let me just kind of brush down the back a bit. Just make sure we're still looking okay. And I think we are. So, yeah. So next time we're together, we'll work on filling in this landmass here. And I want to put like a base color down before we start plopping the trees in. So I might go with some sort of shade of brown. I've got a lighter dark brown that I could stick in here. Kind of like a medium dirt color. We'll probably go with that just for simplicity, so that way if any of it bleeds through on the trees, then we're fine. We don't have to be quite as tight as these guys, but you know, just kind of ass coverage there, because I mean you can see a little bit of the pink shining through, and I'm okay with that because you know we still have plenty of sky up here, but we're also going to be having some stuff coming in around in here and then in here to kind of just kiss the top or the bottom of the clouds there. So I think that's where we're sitting so far. So remember, no stream tomorrow. Next stream will be on Thursday, and we'll be back with Coral Island. At least that's how things are setting up as of right now. So I thank you for your time today and hanging out with me. Don't forget to follow all the socially thingies down below. We've got the Kofi, the YouTube, the Twitter, and the Instagram. And on that note, we'll say goodbye for today, and I hope to see you on Thursday. And until then, you guys have a good one.